Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kathy Neifeld, one of the four partners at Agency One. Together with Ed Lesher, Dennis Bartos, and Gonzalo Garcia, I am honored to welcome you to the 2020 Agency One Annual Advisor Conference. This is the third week of our virtual advisor conference and the final session for today and this week. We still have one more week of phenomenal speakers and content to share with you. We hope that you have registered and will attend the final week, and thank you for joining us. Earlier today, we heard from Mark Caden, Chairman and CEO of Finseca, the organization that was created through the merger of AALU and Gamma. Mark provided us with an overview of the implications of the November presidential election and what the possible outcomes mean to the financial services industry. If you missed that session or any of the sessions from the last 3 weeks, they have all been recorded and are available to you on the CVent site through the attendee hub. The next session is a workshop on land as your legacy, how farmers and landowners can protect their businesses. We are very grateful to our sponsor, Nationwide, for their support of Agency One and our advisor conference and for sponsoring this session. Nationwide has put together a very robust legacy planning program specifically designed for clients that are either farmers, landowners, or in the agricultural business. And this is what we are going to discuss today. Our presenter is Lacey Preston from Nationwide. Lacey is a regional vice president for Nationwide's Land as Your Legacy program. Prior to her current role, she served as regional internal consultant with Nationwide Financial Network and has worked in financial services with Nationwide since the year 2010. Lacey is a graduate of the University of South Florida and holds the Chartered Life Underwriter and Chartered Financial Consultant designations from the American College of Financial Services. I want to share a little bit with you about Lacey's background because I think it's really interesting that this is the platform that Lacey represents and promotes for Nationwide. As the daughter of small business owners, Lacey has vivid memories of working with her family, and she knows the care involved in seeing that business grow. She also understands the unique challenges facing family businesses and has seen firsthand the complicated matter of transitioning a family business from one generation to the next. It is those experiences that Lacey brings to the Land as Your Legacy program. Because of her background, Lacey sees the value that transition planning can offer to the farm and ranch community. Before I turn this over to Lacey, I have a few housekeeping items. All attendees will be on mute. Please submit your questions through the chat function in the attendee hub or at the bottom of your screen. This session will be recorded and a link to the recording will be made available after the session. And please do not forget to complete the session survey after each session. Again, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. And now I'm going to turn this over to Lacey.
Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate the introduction. Okay, wanted to kick off this short presentation with a question for the group. So take a moment and think about this. What do you believe the percentage of family farms that are failing to transition their farm or ranch operation from the first generation to the second? And feel free, use the chat box. Love for you to take a shot at guessing this answer. All right, we got 90, we have 100. Okay, so the answer is 70%. So what's even scarier is that 88% of family farms are failing to transition their family farm or ranch from the second generation to the third generation, and 97% of a failure rate from transitioning their farm or ranch operation from the third generation to the fourth generation. The agriculture community obviously has a problem. They have a critical need for help with transition planning. And it comes down to poor planning, specifically people planning. So Nationwide has recognized the need to help the farming community and has spent a lot of time, money, and resources in creating turnkey solutions that are very dedicated to the agriculture community. I encourage you to think about the families that you know who work in agriculture and listen to how our tools and solutions can help them. My team and I can be an additional resource for you to help secure your client's most precious legacy and drive additional revenue through your firm. As Kathy mentioned, I'm Lacey Preston. I reside down in South Florida, and I support financial planners who serve the agriculture community. I cover 17 states, a portion of the pretty much the eastern part of the country. As Kathy mentioned, I've been with Nationwide for over 10 years, and I've been representing our succession planning program for over 5 years. So today I'm going to cover 3 things. What exactly is Nationwide's Ag Financial Legacy and Land as Your Legacy? Why is Nationwide offering these programs? And lastly, how can it drive revenue through your firm and make a difference for your customers? This is just Nationwide's disclosure stating I'm not an attorney or an accountant, so I'm not going to be providing any legal or tax advice. So there are 2 tracks that financial advisors can leverage to help bring financial services to the agriculture community. The first track is your Ag Financial Legacy, which is providing single sales solutions to your farm and ranch clients. And then our second track is Land as Your Legacy. This is our flagship program that focuses on building a holistic transition plan for your farm and ranch clients. And before I get into the details of these programs, let me share with you why Nationwide is offering this. So there's not a lot of awareness, but Nationwide is #1 in ag, and this is really where we shine. We were founded by farmers for farmers in 1926 to offer lower auto insurance rates to the agriculture community. We actually received a $10,000 loan from the Ohio Farm Bureau to launch Farm Bureau Mutual. And then in 1955, the name Nationwide was adopted to reflect our growth goals, but our original promise has remained along with our commitment to serve people in agriculture. In 1982, Nationwide acquired Farmland Insurance, which is now Nationwide Agribusiness. Nationwide is now the #1 provider of farm insurance in the country, which really just helps with our brand with the farming community. In 2011, we launched the Land as Your Legacy program, and it's to support farmers and ranchers when transitioning their operation from one generation to the next. And today, Nationwide is a mutual company. We're a Fortune 100 company. We're supported by 9 state farm bureaus. We have relationships with various ag organizations, cooperatives, and lending institutions across the country. We've got a strong brand with them. They appreciate our education that we can provide to their members. What's very unique is Nationwide is ran as a company by 16 board of directors. More than half of them, 9 of them, are actively farming outside of their nationwide duties, including our chairman who runs the entire show. In fact, the idea of our succession planning program, Land as Your Legacy, was requested by our former board member because he experienced it. He had a mega farm. He was farming with his brother, who was the key operator, and he passed away in a farming accident. A lot of things came up that they weren't prepared for. So he requested that Nationwide create a program to help other farm members have a seamless and successful transition of their farm or ranch from one generation to the next. So what exactly is Ag Financials? So those were the 2 tracks I had mentioned. Track #1, Nationwide's Ag Financial Legacy. It supports advisors who are at least life licensed, and they have access to folks, individuals, families who contribute to agriculture. I always say the term dirt to table, anyone who's contributing. Ag Financial will also provide single sales solutions for the agriculture community. So it's not limited to transition planning. It offers expanded sales opportunities to advisors not completing full Land as Your Legacy plans. So with Nationwide's experience in the agricultural market, we are lowering some of the barriers to life insurance for anyone who would qualify for an agribusiness policy. So once again, what does that mean? Think of dirt to table. I'll give an example of an owner of a John Deere dealership, for example. They're selling equipment to farmers. They would be eligible for our flexible underwriting, and them and their immediate family members would be as well. So what exactly is this all involved? Well, Nationwide has a highly trained life underwriting force that will be looking holistically at your client's overall health and offer the best underwriting class we possibly can. Now, I'm not going to say it's a miracle worker, but we have had tremendous success. Your client does not need to utilize our program to have this preferential underwriting. All you need to do in order for your clients to receive this flexible underwriting is when submitting the application, whether it's for life insurance or for long-term care, in that special instructions area, indicate that this is a land as your legacy client. And note the relationship to agriculture. Are they a producer? Are they a supplier? Are they a direct relative? That way, your application will be routed to our dedicated underwriter, and they'll know to be more flexible when it comes to your client's bill, their height and weight. If they happen to use smokeless tobacco, chew or snuff, or they smoke cigars, as long as you disclose it on the application, they could be eligible for a non-tobacco rate. And really what that means is the premium is going to be lower. It's going to save your clients a lot of money. And those are the two main items that they'll highlight in this guide. However, we have seen tremendous success. And the reason why Nationwide is doing this is a couple. We want to show that we know how to treat the farm community right. And we also want to remain the #1 provider of farm insurance in the country. Keep these farms intact. And we'll go ahead and send this out to you. Don't feel as though you have to know everything at this moment. We have a guide that will walk you through this, and Agency One will be very well versed as well. So what else Ag Financial offers is we have agricultural facing marketing materials covering products such as life insurance, long-term care, concepts such as wealth transfer, sales ideas, let's say, for example, long-term care. If they fail to plan for long-term care protection, it will showcase and highlight how many acres they would end up having to sell if they did need some long-term care assistance. This is all in ag language, ag images, so that way you can appeal to your audience. Our advanced consulting group at Columbus, Ohio, they're continuously creating client-facing articles that we call white papers. They also create podcasts. These podcasts and white papers, they will cover various ag topics such as conservation easements or life insurance needs in connection with farm and ranch transition planning. We have a wide array of white papers, and these are all just to support you when offering single sale solutions to your clients. And even if outside of farm transition planning or the agriculture community, we have a lot of topics that are client facing. That is a great tool for you to be able to stay in touch and show your clients that you're a student of their industry. So we also have on YouTube, and if you contact Agency One or myself, we would be happy to share this with you. But we have quite a few of short 1-minute client testimonial videos from actual farm families discussing the importance of life insurance, long-term care, annuities, retirement plans. And we even have 2 on our succession planning program, Land as Your Legacy, and I'll get to that here in a minute. Farmers, I just want to say, farmers love to hear from other farmers, so what better way to showcase and share very short videos that they can relate to. Okay, so Land as Your Legacy. This program is designed to assist farm and ranch owners in creating and implementing an agribusiness transition plan with the goals of preserving and passing on the family farm or ranch, safeguarding the value of their operation, setting up an orderly transition of management and ownership, diversifying assets through vehicles that could provide for retirement income. By partnering with us, the owner of the family farm or ranch will receive a no-cost full transition plan that's going to leverage advanced planning concepts. So let me repeat this. Nationwide will absorb the cost of developing your client's custom and comprehensive written transition plan. So Nationwide will do the heavy lifting, the plan development. And we just ask advisors and their clients to look favorably to Nationwide when it comes to product solutions. And we're looking for that partnership from that advisor and that client. And of course, there's no contractual agreement saying you have to sell Nationwide. We just ask that you give us that first shot. That's how we're able to continue on and absorb the costs of putting together these very thorough plans. To give you an idea of some of the advanced concepts from our plans is leveraging life insurance to fund a trust. Considering how life insurance with a long-term care rider can help protect farm assets in the event of long-term care need if it arises. Utilizing life insurance to implement a buyout strategy for estate equalization. Protecting against the loss of a key employee. Establishing and funding buy-sell agreements. We want to ensure that their estate planning documents properly reflect their wishes. We'll review their business entity tax structure. We just want to make sure they're set up correctly and they're not leaving any money on the table. These are just some of the common concepts and planning objectives that result from the plans that our team puts together. Now, Land is Your Legacy is an exclusive program. It's being offered to seasoned financial planners who are already entrenched in the ag market. Financial planners who have a track record of success in financial services. They have an estate planning mindset. They have integrity. They're appropriately licensed. And they're patient and passionate about agriculture. This is a very niche producer that will thrive, and we just want to make sure it's a good fit for you and your business because it can take some time. However, it's very fulfilling, very rewarding, and the cases can end up being rather large just because we're doing a lot of planning. Now, if you feel that this background fits you, I mean, this could really be a significant tool to grow your business and make a difference in the lives of your clients. And if you do not feel that this fits your background, or you don't focus on financial planning, or you don't really have a whole lot of time to be working closely with the client's attorneys and going through the whole process, we do have advisors across the country who partner with other firms and just to drive financial services through their firm by using our program. So that's an option. If that's an interest, feel free to reach out to myself or my peers, depending on where you reside. Now, I do want to mention that this is not a referral source. It's a value-added service for advisors who are already working with families in agriculture. And also don't forget, this is track number 2. So track 1, we still have all those marketing materials and tools and solutions and videos that you can utilize just to be able to present your solution and appeal to your client. So the Land is Your Legacy program would not exist without the knowledge and the expertise of the Advanced Consulting Group. Those are the folks I mentioned before. They're up at our home office, Columbus, Ohio, a group of highly credentialed individuals consisting of attorneys, accountants, long-term care experts. Now, these are the folks that will develop your client's thorough transition plan. And it's very comprehensive and it's unique to each family's needs. It's not cookie cutter. We have a sample plan that we would be happy to send out to you after this webinar. But I do want to mention, these folks are not practicing law. They're only consultants, so we're not taking any business away from your client's team of professionals, their own attorney and accountant. They'll still need to have their own team. Now, we have about 16 advanced consultants. 6 of them are dedicated to the ag industry, and they come from agriculture. We also have 2 financial planners that assist with the plan development. And there really isn't anything that we haven't seen. Most farm families have pretty similar issues, but of course it's very unique to their own situation. And additionally, keep in mind, you have access to this team for questions that are not related to farm transition planning as well. They all specialize in different areas and they're there to support our advisors with any complex cases you may have. And other members of the Advanced Consulting Group can help with ERISA, and other topics, and of course the white papers. So this group, once again, is at your disposal. So to have a plan put in place, it does require a team of highly skilled individuals. I do want to note the client should not be doing this on their own. This is, they really need to have a quarterback who we consider the Land is Your Legacy advisor, truly the client's quarterback. facilitating the client's team of professionals, so their own accountant, their own attorney, throughout the entire transition planning process. As you saw or heard earlier, I mean, the concepts within each plan are at times rather complex. So it's really important to have the ability to hold discussions around these topics with the client's attorneys and accountants that are involved with the case, because that's key to building the trust needed to ensure that the plan is implemented, making sure that their team knows that they are actually very important to this and we can't do this without them. So for our team, what you can see on my slide right here, it might be a little tough to see, but for our team to be able to put together a plan for your client, we request 2 years of your client's personal and business tax returns. We do ask for their balance sheet and if they have any estate planning documents. We even have a fact finder that does a great job of guiding the advisor and the client through the 5 key phases of planning. We've been doing this for a long time. This is a proven, repeatable process. We have discovered that a lot of farm families know that they need a plan. They just don't know where to start. And they tend to go to their local attorney and they get a will or a trust done, and then they think they're all set. The problem with that is they're ignoring some of the most important planning phases, especially succession planning. And that's really the #1 reason why these family farms are disappearing. They're not having those open and honest conversations. So that's where we've gone ahead, built a fact finder that does a really good job of addressing those questions. We provide training through advisors just on all the approaches and how to use our tools and our marketing materials. But it really comes to, if you could be that trusted advisor, even meeting with the entire family and bring up the questions that are on everyone's mind. Who's that next generation? Who's going to lead the operation? Who has the skill sets to even do so? Because that's a lot of times it's not happening. It's very uncomfortable, it's very emotional, and having that advisor be there to address these questions is a huge value add that you could be providing for these families. The other planning phases are business. We're going to want to look at their business risk. Is it running like a business today? Is it profitable today? Risk management. We'll identify all the risks that are associated not only with their operation, but medical health, especially long-term care. The 4th phase is financial independence. We want to look at their retirement plan. Even though we know our farmers say they'll never retire, they do slow down, and life and health will dictate how long they can work on that farm. So let's make sure, do they have enough income for them and their spouse for the rest of their life where they can start mentoring that next generation? And then lastly is estate planning. We share now you've earned the right to do your estate planning, working with your attorney, and that way you can have the documents drafted to align with the 4 other planning phases. So that in a nutshell is Land is Your Legacy, and our fact finder does a really great job. So let's look a little bit more deeply at what you'll see in our plans. First, you'll get back the family diagram, is what you see on my screen. This is the most important item in the entire output. It's everything that you discuss with the client is based on this one page. So we have the family members highlighted in green who are active on the operations. We have their basic goals and concerns and a summation of their balance sheet. We will address concepts such as fair is not always equal. A story that I like to highlight is last year I was in Pennsylvania. We were actually at a Farm Bureau seminar, and I met an elderly couple, and they came up and were talking to me about their dairy operation. And they let me know that they have 3 children, and their oldest son has been working at their dairy farm since they allowed him to, and it ended up becoming his livelihood. He wakes up every morning, 4:30, milking the cows, never takes vacation. And then their second oldest went off to school and became a teacher, and their youngest has Down syndrome, and he goes to a special school in Pennsylvania and receives benefits from the state. And then they later go on to tell me that their transition plan is to go ahead and give equal shares of their dairy operation to each child. And can you see what's wrong with that? How is their oldest son, who's working the farm day in and day out, who's making those management decisions, going to feel that he has now 2 siblings that have nothing to do with farming? Is the sister going to move home and help him with the farm? She's probably likely going to want her share of the inheritance. And then what about the youngest son who's currently receiving those benefits from the state of Pennsylvania? Those payments are likely going to stop until he spends down that inheritance. So a lot of this is education. Fair is not always equal. And in that situation, life insurance can be a pretty efficient tool to accomplish that estate equalization. So we go into things, that's just a common issue we actually come across a lot. But if you look here on the family diagram, this is also where we can find hidden assets that may be used to facilitate the implementation of the plan. You know, for example, crop inventory is where a lot of farmers will structure their income by holding onto the grain to get the most money they can for it, and then pushing income, you know, to the next year. And other issues such as debt play a large role in financial solutions that may greatly help them. So in the example here, Dave and Gail, the parents, you know, a question you could ask is, you know, do they wish that their debt to be paid off after their passing? If so, you know, our survivorship, or any survivorship, if you will, could really be a common solution for that. Here is just one more example from our sample plan. And if you like, we'll be happy to send out the full sample plan to kind of get an idea of what it's all about. But for most cases, you'll typically see over a dozen pages structured like this. So in this example, we suggest considering a buy-sell agreement between these three parties. So we have the dad, Dave, and his two active sons, and triggering events on a life event such as retirement or disability or even death. Now, this is our team's territory map. So we support financial advisors who reside in our territory. So if you can see the top right, I cover a majority of the Northeast, all the way down to Tennessee and even Florida, where I reside. And then we have Mike Beachy, who covers the South. And then the West Coast is Tim Cole. And currently the North is open right now. But if anyone resides in the North, feel free, you can reach out to myself or any of my peers. We'd be happy to help you. So I do want to share this with you. In 2019, we went ahead and sold nationwide $25 million in life long-term care premium and $58 million in annuity sales to the agriculture community. To kind of give you an idea, per plan, on average, every time we developed a plan last year, there was an average of about 2.5 contracts that were sold between life insurance, long-term care, and annuities. The average commissionable life insurance was about $49,000 of commissionable premium, and the average annuity sale was about $276,000. Now, once again, this is only the average. We've seen larger, we've seen smaller. And the reason why these cases tend to be significantly larger is because we're looking at everything that they have. We want to understand everything about them, their goals, their concerns. Tell us about your family dynamics. We want to look at all of their accounts. So this is really an opportunity for us to justify our action considerations. And once again, it's not usually a quick sale, but they can be significant. And for the right advisor, very fulfilling. If you're passionate about the agriculture community, that comes through. And this could truly be a way for you to get your brand and your reputation out in the farm community. I do have one advisor in Ohio that this is all he does. He is so busy with it because of the experience that he is able to provide to his customers. Think about it as something different, separating yourself from other advisors in the marketplace. If this is in your wheelhouse, you're comfortable with it. Nationwide has a lot of relationships, and we're really looking for advisors who are going to be there for the client along the way. And we always have opportunities that arise for advisors that we know and trust. So if you'd like to get a piece of this business, I encourage you to reach out to Agency One, myself, or any one of my peers. I mean, we're an additional resource for you to help secure your client's most precious legacy by offering them financial services and driving revenue through your firm. So once again, if you work with families in agriculture, I encourage you to take advantage of at least Nationwide's resources that we have to offer and solutions. That's very dedicated. As long as your life licensing and offer the product, we have something here for you. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over. Actually, sorry, I think I have, oh, one thing I did want to mention, sorry, Gonzalo,
Okay.
is in the follow-up email, I'll be sure to include those flexible underwriting guidelines, our sample plan, a client testimonial video. If you want anything additional, feel free to reach out to Agency One or myself, and we'll get that to you. So Gonzalo, I'll go ahead and hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Lacey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I'm not going to do what we discussed prior to the session, so that's not going to happen, meaning the pig ears. Anyway, so we do have a few questions. I think the first one, which is actually my question, I think you answered in terms of average sales and life and annuity and long-term care and so on. But what's the average engagement time take? So when a landowner engages with an advisor and through the LAL process, the Land is Your Legacy process, is that a month? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? So kind of like co to woe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent question. Thank you. So I'll first start out with our team's time frame. So I had mentioned we do ask for a lot of information. So once you get that information to us, your client's documents and fact finder, what our team will do is we'll be able to send out that family diagram, that main discussion piece within 10 business days. And when they go ahead and send that out to you, they're going to ask you to confirm the accuracy. Did we spell the names correctly? Is this in alignment with what the client shared with you? Once we receive the confirmation from the advisor that it's accurate, or maybe there needs to be some revisions, within 20 business days, we'll have the full output. So we don't really like to say a concrete time for the client, because it's always better to, under promise, over perform. But I would say from our team, on average is about 8 weeks. But what most of my successful advisors will do is when we have developed that family diagram, they get right out, they get back in front of that client, and they already start kind of discussing some possible solutions. So it really depends a lot on the situation, how responsive the client and the advisor is to be able to get the information to us. And then also, sometimes it makes sense to get the legal work done first. Yep. So the advisor, we encourage them to go along on those appointments with the client's attorney meetings. And in that case, we kind of have to rely on the attorney and getting things drafted and then funding those instruments. So it really kind of depends. We've had something and once again, sometimes there are solutions and protection that are put in place before the full plan is developed. We've seen that as a big risk. If they have no protection, let's go ahead and put something on them in the event something were to happen and our plan wasn't ready. But it can take some time as well. It could take us several months to even up to a couple of years. But really what it comes down to is if you can relate to the farm community and tell them, it ends up being an assumed close almost. Based on what you shared with me today, or throughout our process, this is what needs to happen next to be able to execute and keep your farm intact and protect your family's harmony.
Yeah.
Hopefully that kind of answered.
Yeah, I would imagine that once they kind of go through the questionnaire and the fact finding, it seems that they would be fairly engaged to move forward at whatever level, they're going to ultimately commit to, because they've taken the time to really give you guys the information and tell you an awful lot about their farm and their family and so on. Right. So that's a great process. Very quickly, does Nationwide have someone that has had some experience with New England cranberry bog owners, or any specific sample plans for them? You work the Northeast.
So actually, our advanced consulting group, they've been working with all different types of farmers. There really probably isn't anything that we haven't seen. So I call them the most brilliant minds at Nationwide. I'm out here marketing the program, looking for advisors to represent us. But yes, we have had experience actually putting together a plan for someone up it was in Maine, actually, the cranberry bog. So hopefully that helps. But once again, our attorneys are constantly doing extensive research, and we've worked all different types of farms, even wind farms, oil and gas rights. So we're pretty entrenched in agriculture.
Yeah, and that would include cattle and other, ranching as well. So when you say ag, you're talking really about farmers and ranchers, or really anybody who's got a meaningful amount of land.
Right, exactly. Even an owner of a brewery, if you think about that, that's an agribusiness. Now, if it's more of a business feel where it's not so much of a family farm, I mean, they can still take advantage of our flexible underwriting for life insurance.
Yeah.
We also have a very similar platform to Land as Your Legacy called Your Business, Your Legacy, and that's for business owners. So we do have that available as well.
Got it. Thank you, Lacey. Does an advisor have to be a financial planner in terms of credentialization, or would a CPA qualify? So you don't have to be a CFP. If you're a CPA, you're good to go.
Okay, really what it comes down to is we just want to make sure that this is a good fit for you and your business, because the last thing we want to do is waste your time or Nationwide's time or the client's time.
Yep.
We prefer professional designations, but we don't require it. It just shows us that you've done the coursework. So as long as you're licensed to sell it, if you don't have your securities license, I mean, we do prefer that. We just ask that you partner with someone in the event that there's a need for a variable solution. But this is complex planning, so it's not for everyone, and we get it. We just want to make sure that you're successful and it's a right fit for you and your business.
Yeah, I mean, I see some people from, you know, Texas, from Colorado on the line, from from New England. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in those markets.
Right.
To get out Western Maryland, Pennsylvania. I mean, I'm seeing some folks from a number of different areas. You said breweries fall under this category. I'm in New Jersey. We drink year round. Thank you, John Crosby, for that. Can you please put up your contact info again? Did you have a slide for that, Lacey? Your specific contact information, or would you rather go regionalized and I can get people the information that they need?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, this PowerPoint does not have my contact information, but what I was planning on doing is sending out a follow-up email, and then we have, oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I take that back.
I think it was on the regional slide. Right there. There it is. It's at the bottom right of your screen.
Yes. So hopefully everyone can see that. Otherwise, we'll email that out to you. And depending on where you reside, you'll have the appropriate wholesaler's contact information.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Lacey. Any other questions that I can take on the chat box? I think we're done with the questions. Lacey, on behalf of Agency One, I want to thank you and for your great, great information. I mean, this is really kind of, it's been around since 2011, you said, I think. But it seems like it's the greatest kept secret, other than Mr. LeBlanc, who I guess has been working with you for some time. So anyways, listen, thank you. And Kathy, I'll turn it right back to you. Thank you very much, Lacey.
Thank you, Gonzalo.
Thank you, Gonzalo. Lacey, thank you very much. This was terrific. Everyone, a few reminders. Please remember to fill out your surveys. They will be emailed to you sometime this afternoon. Also, we hope that everyone will join us next week for the final week of our virtual advisor conference. We have 5 terrific sessions to offer to you, including a session on how to understand change from a generational perspective, a session dedicated to RIAs and a fee-based alternative to life insurance for wealth managers. We have a session dedicated to our sales contest finalists, and our final session will be Opportunities in Change, featuring a phenomenally successful and extremely bright advisor who will discuss how to engage your clients with new planning opportunities. These are sessions that you will not want to miss, and we hope that you have registered for them. Thank you for your participation. We hope that you have a safe and fun weekend. I'd like to again thank Nationwide as our sponsor for this session, and please reach out to Agency One if we can be of any assistance. Thank you so much. This concludes the session for today.
And if you know any hog farmers, let them know I'm looking for a place to sleep.
Oh, Gonzalo,
Thank
good
you.
Lord.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.